All right, welcome back. I think this is video 12, I believe, in this series. And if you've been following this series for this historically inspired bike build, I promise there's only one more video and the finished product is really cool. Super happy with the way it came out, and hope you guys like it too. So this video is a teardown video. I got pretty much all the fabrication done that I want to do on this bike, and we're going to be tearing it down, doing some final body work, Bondo, cleaning it up, putting some primer on it, sanding, and painting. So I'm just using just the bottom of the barrel type of products here, 99-cent black spray paint. And I do like this one kind of primer, and the primer was actually more expensive than the spray paint. I think the primer was about $3.50, and I used a can and a half. So the first can that I show on the video was by far the better can, and then the second can, which was advertised as being a primer and filler, I got that at Lowe's. I did not like that as much as the first can that I got at Home Depot, which was just, I don't know, regular primer to be used for metal, and it didn't say filler on there as comparison to the one that came from Lowe's did. So anyway, go to Home Depot if you want to get the primer. I do show the brand on there when I'm doing it, so you can check it out. But I'm going to try not to do too much narration in this video. I've done a lot of that in the past videos, and so let me know what you think. Do you want to hear my voice go on, or do you just want to watch the mechanics and getting this thing built? I made a mistake early in this build. If you recall, these front forks come from a marketed bike from Dr. Pepper, and I scavenged this out of the tree lawn, the front forks off of that bike, that Dr. Pepper bike, and just because they have those little bit of struts in them, turns out they're just springs inside there, so not like gas struts or anything. But anyhow, I made a mistake early on because I removed that little U, that thing that looks like a horseshoe right there, and not knowing that actually kept the two strut bars, or the fork bars right there, from twisting. So I had to put it back on and do a little bit of welding, and then my camera ran out. So what you don't see in this video is me attaching the bracket assembly for the custom gas tank. So you can kind of see it there on the bottom. Those are worm clamps, and I reinforced them a little bit with a piece of that cut off gas tank, fire extinguisher gas tank that has kind of the oval on there that I was just cutting. So I reinforced those worm clamps. I welded them to the bike right there. That was kind of the best and low cost and easiest way to get that tank attached. I went through a whole bunch of different ideas in my head, but this was the simplest. And I had these worm clamps. They work really, really well. And worst case scenario, if they break or something like that, I can always tie it or tape it on there temporarily and then come back and just like re-weld it or something. But they're pretty sturdy, and like I said, I cut a little bit off, a little piece of metal off of the can there, which was a small fire extinguisher can, and it has kind of like that arc, that radius anyway, that my gas tank has. So the idea was to cut off, I don't know, about an inch or an inch and a half length of that had the arc, and that would provide kind of like a seat, so to speak, for the gas tank itself, to be mounted onto the bar, to give it just a little bit more strength, a little bit more stability for that gas tank. So you'll see on the bike frame there, the bike's upside down right now, so that would actually be the lower frame. You'll see a part that I'm going to be applying Bondo to. I had to weld that extra support in there, just to increase the diameter of that bar. And the reason that was necessary is because this, quote unquote, universal mounting for the engine, the bracket that comes with this kit, was far too large for the small diameter size of this frame. So I had to do it at both mounting points. I had to weld on just a little bit more metal, and just grind it down and then cover it up with some Bondo. And it makes mounting that engine bracket just so much nicer, so much more stable, and it would have just been jiggling around. It was so loose in there before, so that was why that was there. All right, so this bike is, again, it's historically inspired from the very early motorcycles of the early 20th century, like 1920s, 19 into 1930, kind of that time frame. And back then, I did a little bit of research. They were almost all monocolor, so the entire bike was like one color. So I went ahead and painted pretty much everything the same color, all the body work, all the fenders, the frame, almost everything is going to be painted the same body work. I even painted the rim of the back wheel from this bike. For some reason, the front wheel was already black, but the other one was silver, so I went ahead and painted that too, and it looks really cool. So if you're wondering why, I'm going to be painting all of this stuff the same color, you can take my word for it, or just go Google, old school bikes or cafe racers or antique motorcycles, and you'll notice that they're all pretty much monocolor, very uniform in color. They're either all like green or gray or black, stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to the trouble of painting just about everything. Okay, so earlier in the video I mentioned that I had two different types of primer. This one was the better one. So if you can take a look and see what brand that is, I'm not really sure, but you know, it's the brand that Home Depot carries, as opposed to like the brand that Lowe's carries. Had really, really, really good coverage. I think that's called Krylon, I think. All right, so you know, it took a lot of time to sand that down, and then also to put a good coat of primer on there, not too thick, and got the compressor out, spraying off all the dust and stuff because I'm going to be putting some final coat of spray paint on here. I did go ahead and off camera also put some of the spot putty on some of the final areas just to smooth it out. I did that same technique with the tank. If you saw that video, the spot putty is kind of complements the regular Bondo. Regular Bondo being kind of like thicker and stuff like that. That spot putty is just really fine, and it comes like out of a little squeeze tube, kind of like you have toothpaste. You don't have to mix it like you do with the Bondo. It's not two part, and it's just, in my experience, much more finer, and you can get like a much better finish with that spot putty, although it's not designed to cover like a bulk area. So you use the Bondo for the bulky area. It's just designed for that, and also it's more economical to do that. And then if you have just a fine little cracks or any like little area that you want to come back and touch up a little bit, make it a little bit more fine before you do the final sanding and put your paint on there, especially like high visibility areas. That spot putty is perfect for that. Very fine. It wet sands really, really nice. So don't forget that little trick. All right, so finally putting some color on all this. I don't, probably goes without being said, but you know, uh, made sure that everything was dusted off. There was no grease or anything like that before, you know, even putting on the primer, but certainly before putting on your final coat of color. And, you know, again, this spray paint is just very inexpensive spray paint. It is, you know, not designed necessarily to be used by professionals or anything. It's a off-the-shelf spray paint. You know, typically I get like the 99-cent one. I think they were actually out of the 99 cent, so this might have been, I don't know, $2.50. I think it was the 2X, Rust-Oleum 2X. And believe it or not, I like the 99 cent better than this higher priced Rust-Oleum 2X. And I know Project Farm did a video comparing, like, you know, spray paints and stuff like that and coatings, and he was, you know, I don't know, impressed by this Rust-Oleum 2X, I suppose. But I didn't find that, although in fairness, I think his video was comparing like scratches or something like that, scratch resistance. So I'm just looking at the actual finish. The scratch resistance from this Rust-Oleum 2X, I guess, probably is superior, at least according to his video it is. But in terms of the appearance of it, the aesthetics, I like that 99 cent stuff. It's perfectly fine. And, you know, that Duplicolor or whatever that is, you know, color match or whatever that is stuff, that, you know, bottom of the barrel, you know, $1 a can stuff. It is only $1 or 99 cents, and this Rust-Oleum 2X was, I don't know, $3.50 or $4. So it's, you know, 400% more expensive. And honestly, I don't think it looks as good. I bet you people would maybe even split. Some would say it would look just as good, and other ones would say it wouldn't. So I don't know. For the money, I'm going to use that cheap stuff still. I'm not sold on the more expensive stuff. So you judge for yourself. These fenders are shot with the cheapy 99 cent spray can. The frame is shot with the 2X, the Rust-Oleum 2X. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 2X looks good. Look at that. It's pretty nice. But I think that the cheapy 99 cent works just as good. So, I don't know. Let me know in your comments what you think. Which one looks better, the fender or the frame? But here's just a little overview. That's what it looks like. And I think it's going to... It turned out really nice. I promise you, this next video that's coming up, the final video where it's all together and running and everything, the seat is custom seat on there. It really looks cool. So for those of you that have stuck it out through all these videos and want to see that last video, I promise you, it will be worth it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for the comments, and I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day.